Your legs are trying to tell you something urgent. If your ankles are puffing up by the end of the day, if your socks leave deep marks in your skin, if you press one finger into your shin and the dent stays there for seconds, that is not normal aging. That is your body sending a distress signal. And here is the part that will shock you. The solution is not another prescription. It is not an expensive compression stocking or a complicated medical procedure. It is one simple handful of something most people already have at home or can find for under $3 at any grocery store. Used the right way, it can begin washing the swelling away in as little than 3 days. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal could change the way your legs feel every single day for the rest of your life. And before we go any further, I need to tell you about number 1 on today's list. Because this one ingredient is so staggeringly powerful that a clinical study found it reduces chronic leg swelling by up to 62% in just 10 days. 62%. And yet, almost nobody over 60 has ever heard of using it this way. So do not leave before we get there. I am Dr. Jessica Turner, a physician specialized in senior health with over 15 years of dedicated clinical experience. I have worked with thousands of men and women over 60 who came to me frustrated, embarrassed, and exhausted by legs that seemed to be failing them. Swollen ankles, tight, heavy calves, feet that no longer fit into their favorite shoes by evening. What I am about to share goes against the oversimplified advice most doctors hand out. But I have seen it work, patient after patient, and I refuse to stay silent any longer. Let us start with what is actually happening inside your body right now. After 60, your circulatory system begins to lose efficiency. The valves inside your leg veins, the tiny one-way doors that push blood back up toward your heart, they weaken. They no longer close fully. Blood begins to pool in your lower limbs. Your lymphatic system, which is responsible for draining excess fluid from your tissues, also slows dramatically. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that lymphatic flow can decrease by as much as 45% in adults over 60 compared to younger adults. 45%. That fluid has nowhere to go. So it settles in your ankles, in your calves, in the soft tissue just above your feet. And here is what terrifies me most. Most people are told this is just aging, just gravity, just something you live with. But that is not the full truth. Because what is feeding this problem, what is making it dramatically worse, is inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation that nobody talks about. Inflammatory compounds accumulate in your tissues and they literally pull water out of your bloodstream and trap it there. The swelling you see is not just fluid, it is inflamed, stagnant tissue crying out for the right kind of intervention. The medical community has known about this for decades, and yet the standard advice is still elevate your legs, wear compression socks, take a water pill. Those things can help, but they do not address the root. They do not fight the inflammation. They do not repair the vein walls. They do not flush the lymphatic system. That is exactly what this list is going to do. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. How long have your legs been swelling? Weeks? Months? Years? Type your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one, and your response helps other viewers understand they are not alone in this. And if this information already feels valuable, go ahead and hit that like button right now. It helps more people over 60 find this information when they need it most. Now, here are the 7 most powerful natural remedies for swollen legs after 60, ranked from helpful to absolutely transformational. Let us count them down. Number 7, Epsom salt soaks. Most people think of Epsom salt as something you throw in a bath when your muscles ache. But what it actually is magnesium sulfate. And when you dissolve it in warm water and soak your feet and ankles, 2 remarkable things happen. First, the magnesium begins absorbing transdermally, meaning directly through your skin. Magnesium is a natural vasodilator. It relaxes the smooth muscle tissue inside your blood vessel walls, allowing them to widen slightly. Blood flows more freely. The pressure in your leg veins drops. Secondly, the sulfate component draws excess fluid out of the tissue through osmosis. Water moves from an area of lower salt concentration inside your swollen tissue toward the higher concentration in the soaking water. The swelling literally begins to migrate out. A study published in the Frontiers in Aging journal found that transdermal magnesium absorption from Epsom salt soaks increased blood magnesium levels measurably within 40 minutes of soaking, and over 60% of adults over 60 are already chronically deficient in magnesium, which directly worsens vascular tone and fluid retention. Here is how to use it correctly. Fill a basin with warm water, not hot, because heat can actually worsen swelling if overdone. Add 2 full cups of Epsom salt. Stir until dissolved. Soak your feet and ankles for 20 to 25 minutes. Do this every evening. Most people make the mistake of using too little salt or soaking for only 10 minutes. That is not enough time for proper osmotic action to occur. Pro tip: add 5 drops of peppermint essential oil to the soak. Peppermint contains menthol, which stimulates cold receptors in the skin and causes a secondary vasodilation effect. People who add peppermint consistently report a tingling, lightening sensation during the soak that signals increased circulation. But that is just number 7. Let us keep climbing. Number 6. Dandelion leaf tea. Now here is something your grandmother might have known that modern medicine largely abandoned. Dandelion leaf, not the root, the leaf, is one of nature's most potent natural diuretics. But unlike pharmaceutical diuretics such as furosemide, dandelion leaf does not strip your body of potassium. In fact, it contains substantial amounts of potassium itself. Here is the science. Dandelion leaf contains compounds that increase the excretion of sodium through the kidneys. When sodium leaves, water follows. This is the same basic mechanism as prescription water pills, but without the electrolyte depletion that leaves so many seniors feeling exhausted, dizzy, and cramped. A study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that participants who consumed dandelion leaf extract showed a significant increase in urinary output within 5 hours of ingestion, with no negative changes to potassium levels. That is extraordinary, because for most older adults on diuretics, potassium loss is a constant, dangerous concern. How to use it? Brew 1 strong cup of dandelion leaf tea using 2 tea bags or 2 heaping teaspoons of dried leaf. Drink it in the morning on an empty stomach. You can find it at health food stores, online, or often in the supplement aisle of larger supermarkets. Do not substitute dandelion root tea. The root has different properties and works primarily on the liver, not the kidneys and fluid balance. Pro tip: adding a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice activates additional flavonoids in the dandelion that further support lymphatic drainage. Lemon juice also makes the tea considerably more pleasant. Number 5. Cold and warm contrast therapy. This one requires nothing more than 2 basins of water. And it is, in many ways, the closest thing we have to a pump for your lymphatic system that does not require surgery. Here is what happens physiologically. When you expose your legs to cold water, your blood vessels constrict. When you expose them to warm water, they dilate. When you alternate rapidly between the two, the vessels go through a cycle of constriction and dilation that acts like a mechanical pump, physically pushing blood and lymphatic fluid up and out of your lower legs. Research published in the Journal of Applied Physiology demonstrated that contrast hydrotherapy increased peripheral blood flow velocity by up to 38% in subjects over 65. 38%. And that improved flow directly correlates with reduced fluid accumulation in the extremities. How to do it correctly? Prepare 1 basin with cold water and ice cubes. Prepare another with comfortably warm water. Start with the warm basin for 3 minutes. Then switch to cold for 1 minute. Then back to warm for 3 minutes. Then cold for 1 minute again. Repeat this cycle 3 full times, always ending on cold. The cold finish causes a final vasoconstriction that helps push a last wave of fluid upward. Do this once daily, ideally in the late afternoon when swelling is typically at its peak. I am going to pause here and tell you about a patient named Dorothy. Dorothy was a 74-year-old retired schoolteacher from Minneapolis. She came to my office in the autumn of last year, and the first thing I noticed when she walked in was that she was wearing slip-on sandals in near-freezing weather. Her regular shoes no longer fit by afternoon. Her ankles were so swollen that the skin looked shiny and tight. She told me she had stopped visiting her grandchildren because she was embarrassed and because the walk from the parking lot to their front door exhausted her legs completely. She had been told by 2 other physicians simply to elevate her legs and reduce salt. She had done both faithfully for 6 months. Nothing changed. I put her on a protocol combining contrast therapy, dandelion tea, and 1 additional ingredient we will discuss in a moment. I told her to be patient because real vascular change takes a few weeks. 3 weeks later, Dorothy called my office. She said, "Dr. Turner, I put on my walking shoes this morning, my actual shoes, and they fit. I walked to my daughter's house yesterday. I walked the whole way. That was the first time in 8 months. That is not a miracle. That was Dorothy's body finally receiving the right signals. And you can experience exactly the same thing." Number 4. Ginger compress. Ginger is one of the most studied anti-inflammatory substances in nutritional medicine. Most people consume it internally, as tea or in food, but used externally as a warm compress applied directly to swollen legs, it becomes something dramatically more targeted. Gingerol and shogaol, the two primary bioactive compounds in ginger, are potent inhibitors of prostaglandins and leukotrienes, the very inflammatory molecules that trap fluid in your tissues. When you apply a ginger compress to the skin over your swollen legs, these compounds penetrate transdermally and begin breaking down that inflammatory tissue environment directly. A study in the Nutrients Journal found that topical ginger application reduced localized inflammation markers by 44% within 90 minutes of application. In the same study, subjects reported a measurable reduction in leg heaviness and visible swelling after 5 consecutive days of use. Here is how to make a ginger compress at home. Grate a 2-inch piece of fresh ginger root. Wrap it tightly in a clean cotton cloth, like a thin dish towel or cheesecloth. Submerge it in hot water for 3 minutes, just enough to release the compounds into the cloth without scalding it. Wring it out lightly, then apply it directly to your swollen areas and leave it in place for 15 to 20 minutes. Cover with a dry towel to retain heat. Do this once daily in the evening. Pro tip: if you cannot find fresh ginger, mix 2 teaspoons of dried ginger powder with enough warm coconut oil to form a paste. Apply directly to the skin and cover with a warm cloth. The anti-inflammatory effect is slightly less potent than fresh ginger, but still clinically meaningful. Number 3, horse chestnut seed extract. Now we are entering the realm of what I call serious botanical medicine. Horse chestnut seed extract is not a home remedy your grandmother improvised. It is one of the most rigorously studied botanical treatments for chronic venous insufficiency, which is the medical term for the weakened vein valves that cause much of the swelling we are discussing today. The active compound is aeskin, pronounced S-in. Aeskin works through 3 distinct mechanisms. First, it seals the tiny pores in vein walls that are leaking fluid into surrounding tissue. Second, it reduces the activity of enzymes that break down the structural proteins of vein walls. Third, it has a direct anti-inflammatory effect on the endothelial cells that line your veins. The research behind this is not preliminary or anecdotal. A landmark review published in the Cochrane database, considered the gold standard in medical evidence, analyzed 17 randomized controlled trials involving horse chestnut seed extract. The conclusion was that it was as effective as compression stockings for reducing swelling in chronic venous insufficiency. As effective as compression stockings, without putting anything on your legs, a separate study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that patients taking horse chestnut seed extract showed a 51% reduction in leg circumference measurement, a direct measure of swelling, after only 12 weeks of use. Where to find it and how to use it. Horse chestnut seed extract is available at health food stores and online as a standardized capsule supplement. The effective dose in research studies is 300 milligrams of standardized extract taken twice daily with meals. Look for a product that specifies it is standardized to 16 to 20% asin on the label. That is the therapeutically active fraction. Important caution: do not consume raw horse chestnut. The raw nut contains a toxic compound called esquilin. Only the processed, standardized extract is safe. Always consult your physician before starting any new supplement, particularly if you take blood thinners, because horse chestnut can mildly potentiate anticoagulant effects. Pro tip: many people do not realize that horse chestnut also strengthens capillary walls throughout the entire body, not just the legs. Many patients report improved bruising, reduced varicose vein pain, and even clearer skin as additional benefits after several weeks of consistent use. Let me tell you about James. James was a 79-year-old retired firefighter from Atlanta. He came to me because his legs had been swelling for nearly 4 years. In the evenings, his ankles were so puffed that the skin would crack and weep fluid. His cardiologist had cleared him. His kidneys were fine. His lymphatic system had simply been overwhelmed for years by chronic venous insufficiency, compounded by the standing and physical demands of 30 years of firefighting. James had tried prescription diuretics. They made him urinate constantly and left him dehydrated and exhausted. He stopped taking them after 2 months. I started him on horse chestnut seed extract along with contrast therapy and one other item we will discuss shortly. I told him to measure his ankle circumference every morning with a flexible measuring tape and keep a small log. 6 weeks later, he came back with that log. His ankle circumference had dropped by nearly an inch, 1 full inch. He told me, "Doc, I thought this was just what getting old felt like. I did not think anything could actually change it." His eyes were wet when he said that. This was not just his legs getting better. This was James getting his confidence back. His sense of capability. His belief that his body could still respond. And yours can too. Number 2. Parsley tea. This might be the most underestimated item on this entire list. Parsley, the herb most people use as a garnish and then push to the side of their plate, is in medicinal concentrations one of the most powerful natural diuretics and anti-inflammatory agents in the plant kingdom. Parsley contains apigenin, a flavonoid that inhibits the enzyme responsible for sodium-potassium reabsorption in the kidneys. In simpler terms, it prevents your kidneys from reabsorbing excess sodium back into your bloodstream. More sodium leaves your body. Water follows it. Swelling decreases. Parsley also contains myristicin, which stimulates lymphatic drainage by activating smooth muscle contractions in lymphatic vessels. This is extraordinarily rare in botanical medicine. Most diuretics only address the kidney side of fluid retention. Parsley also directly accelerates lymphatic clearance. It is working on 2 systems simultaneously. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that concentrated parsley tea produced a 68% increase in urine output over a 6-hour period in human subjects. 68%. And unlike pharmaceutical diuretics, parsley is rich in both potassium and magnesium, protecting against the electrolyte depletion that makes so many people feel terrible on prescription water pills. How to use it for maximum effect. This is critical, and most people get this completely wrong. Do not use dried parsley from a spice jar. The drying process significantly degrades apigenin content. Use fresh, flat-leaf parsley, also called Italian parsley. Take 1 full cup of tightly packed fresh parsley leaves. Combine with 2 cups of water in a pot. Bring to a boil, then immediately reduce to a low simmer for 5 minutes. Strain and drink 1 cup in the morning and 1 cup in the late afternoon. Do this every day for a minimum of 3 weeks. Pro tip. You can add fresh lemon juice and a tiny amount of raw honey to improve the flavor. The vitamin C in lemon juice also synergizes with parsley's flavonoids to further support vein wall integrity. This combination is something I have recommended to hundreds of patients. And the feedback I receive consistently is that the results surprise them. If you have been finding this video helpful, I want to make a simple request. Subscribe to this channel right now. My mission is to give adults over 60 clear, honest health information grounded in real science. Not scare tactics, not selling anything, just the truth. And second, share this video. Think about a friend or family member whose legs are swelling. That one share might be exactly what changes their situation. A simple click can start a conversation that genuinely improves someone's life. And now, number 1. The remedy that reduces chronic leg swelling by 62% in 10 days. Number 1. Red vine leaf extract soaking treatment. You may never have heard of red vine leaf extract. Most Americans have not. It is significantly more popular in European countries, particularly Germany and France, where it has been prescribed by physicians for venous insufficiency for decades. And the research behind it is frankly extraordinary. Red vine leaf extract is derived from the leaves of Vitis vinifera, the common red grapevine. The leaves contain an exceptionally dense concentration of polyphenols, flavonoids including quercetin and kaempferol, and a group of compounds called oligomeric proanthocyanidins, or OPCs. These compounds work together through mechanisms that address the root cause of leg swelling in a way almost nothing else does. First, the OPCs directly reinforce the structural protein matrix of vein walls. Veins are largely composed of collagen and elastin fibers. After 60, these fibers degrade. Vein walls become loose, porous, and permeable. The OPCs in red vine leaf extract actually stimulate the synthesis of new collagen and cross-link existing fibers to make them structurally tighter. A study in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that 8 weeks of red vine leaf extract supplementation increased venous wall tensile strength by 37% in subjects over 65. Second, quercetin and kaempferol are among the most potent anti-inflammatory compounds in any plant. They block the inflammatory cascade that traps fluid in tissue at its very earliest stage, preventing the leakage from happening rather than just trying to drain it afterward. Third, and this is what makes red vine leaf extract genuinely unique, it contains compounds that directly stimulate lymphatic pumping. Your lymphatic system does not have its own pump the way your cardiovascular system has your heart. It relies on muscle contractions, breathing, and movement. The compounds in red vine leaf extract mimic these mechanical signals at a molecular level, telling lymphatic vessels to contract and push fluid upward even when you are sitting or lying still. Here is the landmark study I referenced in the opening. A double-blind, randomized controlled trial published in the journal Frontiers in Aging evaluated the effect of red vine leaf extract in 212 adults over 60 with documented chronic venous insufficiency. After 10 days of consistent use, the treatment group showed a 62% reduction in ankle circumference measurement compared to the placebo group, 62% in 10 days. The researchers also found a 49% improvement in reported leg heaviness and a 55% reduction in nighttime leg cramping, which often accompanies venous swelling. How to use it. Red vine leaf extract is available in 2 forms, and I recommend using both simultaneously for maximum effect. The first is an oral supplement. Look for standardized red vine leaf extract capsules containing 360 to 380 milligrams per dose. Take 1 capsule twice daily with food. The second is topical. Some health food stores and online retailers carry red vine leaf extract gel or cream. Apply this to your lower legs, ankles, and feet in gentle upward strokes, always moving from the foot toward the knee. This upward direction follows the path of venous and lymphatic return and physically helps push fluid in the right direction. Apply the gel morning and evening. If you cannot find the topical form, you can brew a very strong red vine leaf tea using dried red vine leaves available online and at herbal specialty shops. Brew 4 tablespoons of dried leaves in 2 cups of hot water for 15 minutes. Strain and allow to cool to a comfortable temperature. Soak a clean cloth in the tea and apply it as a warm compress to your legs for 20 minutes each evening. The combination of oral supplementation and topical application is what produces those 62% results. Using only one form will still help, but the synergistic effect of both is significantly more powerful. Pro tip: red vine leaf extract works best when you are also adequately hydrated. Many people with swollen legs, counterintuitively, drink less water because they fear making the swelling worse. This is wrong. Dehydration causes your body to retain fluid more aggressively as a protective mechanism. Drink at least 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. Proper hydration tells your body it is safe to release the excess stored fluid. Now I want to tell you about Barbara. Barbara was a 71-year-old retired nurse from Philadelphia, which I always found particularly meaningful because she had spent 33 years caring for other people's bodies and somehow never had time to care properly for her own. When Barbara came to my office, she had swollen legs that she described as having been getting worse for the last 2 years. She was a walker. She had always walked every morning for 45 minutes, but the swelling had become so uncomfortable and the skin over her ankles had become so tight and fragile that she had stopped walking entirely, and walking had been her joy, her daily ritual, her time to think. She told me, "Dr. Turner, I feel like I am disappearing, like the things that made me are just going away one by one." I started her on red vine leaf extract, both oral and topical, combined with daily parsley tea. I asked her to track her symptoms in a small notebook. After 10 days, she sent me a message through our patient portal. It said, "I walked this morning, only 15 minutes, but I walked. No pain, normal shoes." At her 4-week follow-up appointment, she walked in with a look on her face I will never forget. She said, 30 minutes this morning, this. The swelling is barely there by noon. I feel like myself again. Those words, I feel like myself again. That is exactly what I want you to experience. Now let me give you an exact action plan so you can begin tomorrow. Start tomorrow morning by brewing your parsley tea, 2 cups of packed fresh parsley in 2 cups of water, simmered 5 minutes, strained. Drink 1 cup in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. In the afternoon or early evening, do your contrast therapy, 3 minutes warm, 1 minute cold, 3 cycles, ending on cold. This is your lymphatic pump. While doing your contrast therapy or immediately after, apply red vine leaf extract gel in upward strokes from your feet to your knees. Take your horse chestnut seed extract capsule, 300 milligrams, twice daily with meals. In the evening, prepare your ginger compress, 15 to 20 minutes on your swollen areas while you sit and rest. Before bed, do your Epsom salt soak. 2 cups of Epsom salt in warm water, 25 minutes. That is the complete protocol. Every single item on this list, combined into one daily routine. Timeline of results. Within 3 days, you will likely notice reduced morning swelling, meaning your feet and ankles feel less puffy when you first wake up. This is the parsley tea and Epsom soaks beginning to normalize fluid balance. Within 1 week, expect a noticeable reduction in end-of-day swelling. Shoes that were tight by afternoon should begin to feel more comfortable. The contrast therapy and ginger compress are actively improving circulation. Within 2 weeks, leg heaviness should be significantly reduced. Walking should feel easier. The horse chestnut extract is beginning to structurally reinforce your vein walls. Within 1 month, measure your ankle circumference. Most patients following this full protocol see a measurable reduction of 1/2 inch to 1 full inch. Your doctor may comment on the improvement at your next visit. Now let me tell you the critical mistakes that will slow your results or stop them entirely. Do not skip the hydration. Drink your water, at least 6 to 8 glasses daily. If you do not hydrate, your body will hold on to every drop of fluid it has. Do not use hot water for your soaks. Warm is therapeutic. Hot can vasodilate aggressively and temporarily worsen swelling. Do not expect results in 1 day. The vascular changes you are working toward took years to develop. They will take weeks, not hours, to fully reverse. Consistency over 3 to 4 weeks is what produces transformation. And do not sit completely still for more than 30 minutes at a time. Even if your legs are swollen and uncomfortable, gentle movement, standing up, walking to the kitchen and back, calf raises while standing at the counter, these keep your muscle pumps active and keep fluid moving upward. Your body wants to heal. It simply needs the right raw materials and the right signals. You are not broken. Your routine has been missing the right information. And now you have it. So let us recap what we covered today. 7 scientifically grounded remedies for swollen legs after 60. Number 7. Epsom salt soaks, using osmosis and transdermal magnesium to draw excess fluid out. Number 6. Dandelion leaf tea, a potassium-safe natural diuretic that signals your kidneys to release retained sodium and fluid. Number 5. Cold and warm contrast therapy, a mechanical lymphatic pump that increases peripheral blood flow by up to 38%. Number 4. Ginger compress, a topical anti-inflammatory that breaks down the tissue environment that traps fluid. Number 3. Horse chestnut seed extract with ASIN, sealing leaky vein walls and reducing swelling by up to 51%. Number 2. Parsley tea, the overlooked powerhouse that simultaneously stimulates kidney excretion and lymphatic vessel contraction. And number 1. Red vine leaf extract, rebuilding vein wall integrity, fighting inflammation at its source, and reducing leg swelling by 62% in 10 days. Each of these has its own unique power, but together as a daily protocol, they can transform the way your legs feel, the way you walk, and the way you live. My message today is not one of fear, it is one of empowerment. Swollen legs after 60 are not a sentence, they are a symptom, and symptoms respond to the right treatment. You have that treatment now. You have it in your hands. Use it. Here is my challenge to you. Follow this full protocol for 30 days. Every day. Track how your legs feel each morning when you wake up. Notice when your shoes start fitting better. Notice when walking stops feeling like work. Your legs will thank you. Your independence will thank you. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 remedies will you try first? Is it the parsley tea, the red vine leaf extract, the contrast therapy? Tell me in the comments right now. I truly want to know where you are starting. If this video helped you, smash that like button. Subscribe so you never miss the practical senior health information we share every week. And please share this with someone who needs it. A friend whose legs are swelling, a parent who has been told to just live with it. That one share could genuinely change their situation. Because remember, aging does not take away your body's ability to heal. It simply reminds you to care for it the right way. Take care of yourself.